Getting into it, I want to discuss something major about this video. As you can see, the gameplay I've provided today is not Fire Emblem Three Houses, but Smash Ultimate. The reason for that is because I have inevitably burnt myself out of the game, which I honestly never thought would happen. Okay, story time. So when I originally wrote the script, it was mid-January and I was in the middle of my Three Houses goal at the time, to 100% the game. That meant every character had mastered every class possible to them, everyone that could become a dancer became a dancer, and everyone had an S+ in every skill, etc, etc, you get the gist. As time passed, however, and Engage came closer and closer, I looked for opportunities to revisit Three Houses, but never mustered up any courage to do so. Many times I had opened up the application just to back out of it and play a different game. Don't get me wrong, Three Houses is still one of my favorite games, but you also have to understand that I'm the type of video game player that just won't play a game if I don't want to. And when I finally came into contact with Engage, it's like all of my desires to play Three Houses flushed away. It was tragic. Again, don't think for a second that I dislike or even despise Three Houses. I will most certainly return to Fodlan. But for now, I have no motivation to play the game, as I played it for around 9 to 10 hours daily for about 6 months. I honestly wish I could have streamed it, but I didn't have the setup, nor did I have the time to. Anyway, I hope you guys understand all of this, and without further ado, let's get into my definitive Three Houses tier list. Again, this does take the perspective of me in mid-January prior to Engage's release. I recently clocked in over 550 hours on Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I'm currently on the quest of 100%ing the game. This being said, there are a lot of changes I'd make considering who I do and don't like in the game from when I first presented Three Houses on this channel. To be clear, this tier list is not based on abilities, skills, talents, stats, or anything like that. I just want to talk about how I feel about these beloved video game characters. Be warned that I kind of just threw the tier list together late at night, but these are definitely 100% my current affinities with these characters. Alright, let's get into the tiers. Tier 1. Starting off, I have the No tier, which showcases characters I want nothing to do with. This is the case with everyone in this tier except for Lorenz, as he has a special clause. However, I still hate this specific version of him. I just think the sprite is ugly. And you all have seen the memes. Also, I didn't mention before, but I haven't played Three Hopes yet, so none of my opinions are based off of the events that occur in that game or the characters/designs. Additionally, since this is the case with Lorenz, I will typically showcase the design I like better for a particular character, but when I think of that character, I think of everything relating to that character. That means the differences between how they act in Silver Snow than in Crimson Flower, or if they have an eye patch or not. I'm sure you get the picture. Tier 2, the Obsessive and Weird tier. Everyone here is obsessive and weird, and is a straight up greedy businesswoman. Hanamon is just an ugly sorcerer, sorry Hanamon fans, and Rhea lives and dies for the church. She's the definition of obsessive and weird. Even when I romanced her, I was cringing. Overall, just a morally obsessive and weird character. Next tier is the basic weirdos. These include individuals who are just weird by nature, but not enough for me to be like, oh, that's just your personality, like the last tier. An example of this is Cornelia, who is literally only supposed to be seductive. In my opinion, she's just bad or worse Manuela, but I don't see her as a bad person per se. I also included Ignatz and Ash in this tier. I'm sorry to all the Ignatz and Ash stands, but they don't seem stellar to me. Even after playing alongside them for 500 plus hours or whatever I said, not to mention that I forgot that Ash actually leaves you at the beginning of Crimson Fire. I straight up invested everything into him and he left me, which was heartbreaking. I mean, I was only without him for like a couple of months, but you know, those couple of months I could have really used him. And yeah, Next tier is just Balthus. He's weird, but he's also cool. I feel like Balthus is just your typical jock. Not to say he has a dull personality or that he lacks defining character traits. Balthus is a cool character with a unique character design, but he's also just awkward to be around sometimes. My fifth tier is the I can approach you tier. This tier houses characters I would probably ask for one favor and that's it. They are the students in school you think are weird but also come in handy, like if you need test answers, but they aren't snobby weirdos either. I can also imagine some of them being the awkward or shy type in school, such as the case with Ingrid. None of these characters are exactly bad per se, but I'd rather prioritize my time having actual worthwhile conversations somewhere else with other people. My sixth tier is the tier where I'm actually interested in conversation. As far as Kostas goes, I actually see him as being a funny guy or being able to be a great friend. He's lousy at field work, as we can see, because a bunch of kids take him out. But I imagine him being a guy who could sympathize with others and tell when others are feeling down. Also, I get a weird feeling he'd be a great chef for some reason. We really need to see this in the future. I want another Fire Emblem Three Houses spin-off anyway, so maybe it can be a cooking simulator. Sylvain should probably be higher on the list since realistically he's a really goated friend with a lot to offer. However, I feel like he's fine being at the top of this tier. He kind of just, embodies what it means to have someone you want to talk to and be close with. Another person I want to talk about in this tier is Constance. Constance is only motivated by Nouvelle's resurrection, which by definition makes her obsessive, but she isn't a weirdo. This is why I had her a little bit higher than the others. I can honestly see myself being good friends with her, but Nouvelle always comes first, I guess. Moving on, I have characters ruined by my personal headcanon. Oh gosh, where do I start? Well, I guess we can talk about Attack on Titan. Why? Well, you see, I started re-watching it recently and I discovered traits in two characters that remind me of other characters I knew, specifically Dallas Zachary and Claude, and Connie Springer and Caspar. You see, not only do these characters resemble each other slightly, you can make a case that they would be future forms of them. It's a stretch, but Claude going off to a far-off land after he was driven to the ground trying to protect what he believed in, his tactics ultimately failed against Byleth and Edelgard, and then he became a corrupt politician who now judges in the name of another person's predetermined laws and values. Again, it's a stretch, but it's my personal headcanon. This is also something I featured on the Three Houses Reddit, as I'm quite active on Reddit. As for Dorothea, she just looks like female Jotaro. Tell me I'm wrong. Moving on, we have great friends. This is my realistic friend group and the people I would most likely prioritize being with more than anyone else. Flane is just quirky and funny and has an unrivaled sense of compassion. Happy is a unique case, and despite being distraught a lot of her life, she actually is overwhelmingly caring and careful of others' feelings. Bernadetta and Yuri I see hand in hand and make for an awesome duo. They seem like sitcom partners who are just meant to do great things together. Lorenz is keen and intuitive and has a defined purpose in life. I've always enjoyed him as a character despite what people say. Raph is just the big hugger. You've got to have a warm, caring, bliss, and awesomely amazing, sweet-hearted Raphael in your life. And despite what I said about Dorothea before, I think she's a warm shoulder to lean on. In a drought, Dorothea can soothe you and sing to you and care for you. Need advice? Dorothea has been through it all and can alleviate your worried cries. Honestly, I would do anything to see these specific characters interacting with each other in their own fan art panel. These are great and lovable characters, each with personalities that differ greatly. Some fight for honor, some protect, and some define what it means to be. Getting into the next tier, we have our quote-unquote good friends. These are friends with potentially frisky natures that I see as good friends, just a little bit spicier. Enough said, next tier. The next tier are going to be showcased together. Essentially, these are the characters that I love in these respective languages. Sothis only in English because Cassandra Lee Morris is funny and quick-witted and an interesting personality. Everyone else in Japanese dubs because damn, they're amazing. Like, listen to Japanese Yuritsa versus English Yuritsa.
どうした? 飯を食わないのか? それならばなぜ立ち去らん? イエリッツァ・フォン・フリム、皇帝も軍の者も私を死神と呼ぶが、あれは
English Yuritsa sounds like a crappy nobleman, no offense to the voice actors, while Japanese Yuritsa sounds like a menacing, distorted titan. Not gonna lie, JP Yuritsa is instantly triple S tier. However, I think it should be clarified that I only like JP Yuritsa, not English. The next tier consists of the ultimate waifus or Chad dads. Need I say any more? Male Byleth is stunningly sexy, I don't care what people say. Edelgard is a dominating force in more ways than one. Felix is just smooth with it, and Marianne is just the ideal waifu. That's it. There's no debate between these characters. They are all extravagant. As for the final tier, I cooked up something extra. These are characters I'd marry in real life if they offered themselves up. These are more than just ideal waifus or caregiving spirits. They're companions who aren't devoid of personalities and have a lot to say. You're going to argue with these characters, you're going to question your relationship with them at points, and when everything seems wrong, they'll be there to comfort / protect you when you need it most. Every character is driven by a different goal and motivation in this tier, and they are all equally unique. Anyway, this video has been great, and honestly one of my favorite videos to make. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a comment and... Wait, what? You said I missed a character. Okay, that's interesting. Let me see. Ah yes, it did seem you were right. Let me...